And now joining us in the studio to analyze the growing trend of lone wolf terrorists.
Lone wolf attacks.
2 weeks of lone wolf attacks, and once again, Jerusalem is on edge.
حيي كل ذرة دم أريقت في سبيل القدس، فهي دماء نظيفة، دماء نقية، دماء في سبيل الله إن شاء الله، وكل شهيد سيكون في الجنة وكل جريح سيكتب له الله الثواب.
So actually by building the infrastructure, the consciousness infrastructure, it makes it possible for the Palestinians to activate a terror campaign and make it look as if it was unplanned. It's a plan to be unplanned. Ongoing incitement, the basic incitement that tells the Palestinians that there's no Jewish people, that Jews have no rights here, that the Jews are terrible creatures, that any kind of struggle is legitimate and the purpose of the Palestinians is to struggle. This is their core identity. All those issues are planted in their consciousness day in, day out, so that when somebody tells them, now you go and stab, they feel they can make it appear as if it's unplanned. It's something that's coming from their own initiative and not because somebody told them, because it's so unorganized. These are not lone wolves. These are wolves that are activated in remote control after putting in them the consciousness that enables the leaders to do that.
Chairman Abbas had set relatively clear parameters for this haba, this popular uprising. The first objective here was to differentiate this uprising from Hamas and its brutal tactics. Therefore, the tools that were to be utilized in this uprising were tools that any Palestinian, and specifically younger generation, can find or create by themselves. So we're talking about rock throwings, we're talking about Molotov cocktails, we're talking about vehicular manslaughter, ramming into bus stations, and eventually the knife.
ايش بتقولي لشباب الضفة؟
When a young kid takes a knife out of frustration and slaughters somebody, there's less international outrage about that. But in the Arab world, especially with ISIS, the symbolism of the knife is very heavy. It's one thing to shoot and blow up somebody, that's terror. But the symbolism of slaughter with a knife is supposed to send waves of terror throughout the whole population here.
I surveyed 181 attackers from this last terror wave in order to try and find a pattern. One of the main findings was the similarity in ages. 62% of the attackers were below the age of 24, some as young as 12 years old.
الأطفال عندنا محرومين من كل من أي شيء في الحياة يسمى ترفيه للطفل. الطفل عندنا للأسف الترفيه له هو سلاح.
Another pattern that emerged was where the attackers were from. 56% of the attackers were from the Hebron and Jerusalem area. The significance of these areas are twofold. One, they have easy access to Jews. And the second is they have shared holy sites. Many people ascribe motivations to these attackers without actually looking at what the attackers themselves are saying. And what they're saying is this: they're posting on their Facebook page and they're posting on their social media that their desire to become a shaheed, to become a martyr, to die for Al-Aqsa, to protect their holy sites, to avenge previous deaths, to avenge martyrs, and to emulate them.
جيش محمد سوف يعود. جيش محمد سوف يعود. جيش محمد سوف يعود.
young people discovered it paid to be a terrorist. They knew that if they attacked, they would be glorified among their friends, they would receive stipends from the Palestinian Authority or from Hamas or even from Iran. If they were jailed, they would get stipends for life.
وإن شاء الله يا ربي كل أولادي يبقوا على درب محمد والحمد لله بنعرف بس أنا ما بكيتش أعرف وزعلانة ليش ما أخذنيش معاه. لازم محمد أخذني أستشهد معاه وإحنا مش ندمين والحمد لله فخورين وبدي أحليكي بشهادة محمد.
The society was honoring, was glorifying acts of terror.
Now we saw after about 6 months that Abu Mazen has decided to put down the flames and actually stop it. As a result of that, he sent his security forces to the schools and told people to stop stabbing the Jews. It's amazing how successful he was in instigating the terror campaign, because in one school they found 70 knives in the school bags of children. This is like crazy. But when the order came to stop it, more or less within one night it stopped.